When Sophie Rhys-Jones became engaged to His Royal Highness Prince Edward in 1999, the world could not help but notice her striking resemblance to the late Princess Diana. But while parallels could easily be drawn between their striking blonde looks, the confident 33-year-old PR consultant from Oxford could not have been more different from the shy 19-year-old who captured the heart of the British nation nearly 20 years earlier. The circumstances surrounding the future princess's engagements were also poles apart. While Diana was screened to ensure that she was still a virgin on her wedding day, Sophie and Edward were allowed to live together in Buckingham Palace. Sophie was also very much the independent career woman, having launched her own PR agency. The stage was set for a very modern royal marriage, although many were surprised that, unlike Diana, Sophie had agreed to promise to obey her husband as part of their wedding vows.
To say obey does not mean that you're going to be subservient. It means that there may be certain decisions, maybe only one or two in a lifetime, which by definition you can't agree on. Nearly every decision is a shared one, but then it's then that the wife says, "I trust you to make a decision for the good of the family."
Despite making that concession to tradition, she did take the bold step of banning ladies from wearing hats, which met the approval of Brides magazine.
I don't think it's more modern exactly. I just think it's more European, more continental, more to do with the world rather than England.
She and the prince opted to keep their nuptials low-key. Instead of going for a no-holds-barred extravaganza at Westminster Abbey, they plumped for a more informal do at St George's Chapel in Windsor Castle. But while preparations for the big day may have been considered rather small-scale in royal terms, for the British people and a host of international tourists, it was an occasion worth travelling halfway round the world for. They were happy to wait all day for a glimpse of the royal couple and their guests, who pulled up in Rolls-Royces and limousines as they arrived for the service. The newlyweds then rode the streets in an open-top carriage, the new princess looking relaxed and happy as she waved to the crowds. But within 2 years, she was dodging slings and arrows after a newspaper sting operation forced her to quit as head of her public relations company. The tabloid News of the World had exposed her for exploiting her royal connections to promote her company. It published damaging transcripts of conversations between her business partner, and a reporter for the newspaper, who dressed up as an Arab sheikh and pretended to be offering her a lucrative deal. Sophie refused to make any comment when she arrived for work the following Monday at the offices of RJH, the public relations firm of which she was no longer chairman. The revelations, dubbed Sophiegate, rocked Buckingham Palace just as it was starting to recover from the scandals of Princess Diana and Sarah Ferguson, and the press used the affair to rekindle debate about the need to modernise the monarchy and avoid damaging conflicts of interest that can occur when royals engage in business. One newspaper printed the headline, "Time to dump the minor royals," while another mass-selling tabloid declared, "Off with her head." Prince Edward also came under fire for using his position to further the fortunes of his television production company. And in the end, both were forced to give up their careers to focus on their royal duties. Barely had Sophie recovered from that blow than she was rushed to hospital suffering from an ectopic pregnancy, a condition that can occasionally prove fatal to the mother. The morning after the emergency operation, Prince Edward arrived at the hospital with flowers.
Obviously, it's a fairly traumatic time, and my wife was in. I mean, anybody who knows anything about this will know this is about the most painful thing that anybody can undergo. So it was a pretty traumatic experience, and we were delighted that now, you know, that it's been sorted out, and undoubtedly as the pain reduces, so does the relief.
A few days later, Sophie was still not able to face the media, but in a statement released to the press, she talked of her acceptance of the sad situation and remained optimistic about the future. And despite fears that she may never be able to conceive again, she has since given birth to 2 children, Lady Louise Windsor and James Alexander Philip Theo.